right. We are getting a quick mic check just to see if we can be heard. This IFB doesn't seem to be working. Give me 1 second here. Let's see, switch it out here for a moment. All right. 1, 2. Now I hear myself. All right, we are up and ready to go. All right. Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me here at the Atlanta News First Plus desk. We're so glad to have you with us. Usually, I'm coming to you live from the weekends, but tonight I am here during the week. So we have a lot happening in our newsroom. Let's jump right into it. We are following breaking news right now out of Buckhead, where we just learned, unfortunately, that a person has died. Now, this is the news we hate telling you about. We know that a person died after getting rolled over from underneath a moving car. So the details are very limited right now. We don't know if this was a man or a woman, but we do know that the person was trying to stop a car that was rolling, got trapped underneath, and unfortunately the car rolled over that person, and that person has died. That's the very latest information that we do have from the Atlanta Police Department. We are sending a crew there to try to go get some images to bring that to you in real time, and as soon as we get that, we will of course update you on that. But the area in which this happened, I can tell you, was in the 1100 block of Roxborough Point. And of course, they have not released the identity of this person. Still very preliminary when anytime something like this happens. But we are going to go try to get as many details as we can from the scene. So as soon as we get that, you'll know about it. All right, so we're going to move on from that, and we're going to transition here to the political sphere. Tonight, we have another big story happening under the Gold Dome because the Secretary of State's office is combing through a list of 190 voters in Georgia that they are going to be making sure that live here. They're going to be seeing who has moved, who has died, and who maybe didn't participate in the last election. Now, our political reporter, Doug Reardon, dug into this today, and he spoke with the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, so we're going to let you hear from him.
2% of Georgia's 8 million voters marked as inactive in the state system are now at risk of losing their ability to cast a ballot.
They haven't voted for 2 election cycles, and they just don't live here anymore.
At a speaking event in Tucker on Wednesday, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger said his office uses national change of address information to suss out who may have moved, died, or stayed home from the polls since the last purge. He added Georgia has the cleanest voter rolls in the country, despite being at the center of numerous election conspiracies.
And some people, just don't. How's that possible? Because a lot of what you've been told for the last 2.5 years has been misinformation.
County election offices are sending out letters right now to voters on the list. If you're on it, you'll have 30 days to respond to avoid cancellation.
Well, it's critically important that we maintain clean voter rolls.
Natalie Crawford is the founder of the nonpartisan group Georgia First. She says check your status, and if you need to re-register, it's a simple process in Georgia. She had to do it when she moved counties a few years ago.
It took me 5 minutes, to change my registration. I have a new voter in my household. My son just turned 18. 5 minutes for him to register to vote.
51% of inactive voters are people of color, and some voting rights groups say it doesn't matter how long a person has gone without voting, they should never lose that right. But Crawford says it's a necessary step in keeping elections safe and simple.
It's important, of course, that what leads to a cancellation is clear, it's transparent to the public, that ample notice is given.
I hated him.
Flowers lay outside the BP gas station on Flat Shoals Road, where a 24-year-old man was killed early Wednesday morning. The DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office identifying the victim as Rahil Sarani of Alpharetta.
I just saw him the other day, and so it's kind of sad that somebody would take his life like that.
DeKalb County police say Sarani was shot and killed at the store during an armed robbery. According to a witness, Sarani, who employees say owned the store, was arranging merchandise just before 3 a.m. when 3 people pulled up and shot him.
The owner, that's so sad.
A witness says the shooters then stole money from the cash register before taking off, never saying a word.
It's just so shocking to hear this.
The shooting, just the latest act of violence at a business in this neighborhood in less than 2 weeks.
Young boys with guns. That's what happened.
On July 6, 2 gunmen shot up Jimmy's barbershop in broad daylight. 3 people were wounded, the motive still unknown. The business within eyesight of the gas station where Serrani was gunned down.
It's bad, and it has gotten worse. It needs to stop.
Well, I did notice that my microphone was not on when I was introing this story for you, but Zach Summers really just told you everything you would need to know. This was a beloved owner of a gas station in DeKalb County who lost his life to senseless gun violence, and you just heard from people who would frequent his store talk about the person he was and how devastated they are to hear about this. And just for some greater context of this issue, I have covered this pretty severely and in length as it relates to gas station shootings in DeKalb County, and I have been in close contact with one of the commissioners who did pioneer some legislation that was eventually passed and is set to be rolled out in DeKalb County, where they are going to be mandating that there are working surveillance cameras above every single pump at all of the gas stations in DeKalb County. And if those gas stations if investigators find that they are not in compliance, then they will be facing some fines and could get their business license revoked. So a lot of gas stations are already working to become in compliance. So that's something that I am keeping a very close eye on, and all of us here at Atlanta News First. But of course, our prayers are with his family tonight. All right, well, we're going to shift gears a little bit to a more positive note, because that's how we always like to, change the mood and leave you with that. We're going to talk about your chances of becoming a billionaire tonight, because a historic Powerball jackpot is in store again tonight. And the drawing is taking place at 11 o'clock. And so, again, we do have some recommendations for you. If you sign up to do this, you throw your name in the hat. I know a few people here are doing it. We have some people who have been trying to get me in the pool. I'm more of a solo person after realizing we didn't win the other night. But yeah, so it's happening tonight again, and buy your ticket. We're going to let you hear from some people in the community who have already bought their tickets and are really excited.
Well, if you're feeling lucky, now might be a good time to go ahead and get out there and buy a lottery ticket. You might be the lucky winner of either the Powerball or the Mega Millions jackpot. The Mega Millions jackpot rose to $720 million. That drawing is Friday, but the big story is Wednesday night's drawing, the Powerball jackpot, which reached a whopping $1 billion.
Well, everybody has a dream to win the lottery, but it also helps with education.
What would you do with all that money? Jennifer Hall already has a plan.
Well, of course, pay off bills. Make sure my family was taken care of. Everybody had a house. And, of course, save some for travel and retirement.
Hundreds of Metro Atlantans flock to convenience stores to get a last-minute chance at immediate wealth, but also to help a great cause.
I think participating in the lottery adds a lot to the education programs. And I think they've taken in a lot of money and they're giving away a lot of money.
Powerball officials are urging all players to go ahead and sign that ticket if you do win. Put it somewhere safe and give your lottery office a call. Chances of winning the jackpot, however, are pretty meager. 1 in 292 million. You have a better chance at being struck by lightning, according to the National Weather Service, but don't let that deter you. This Powerball jackpot ranks as the 7th largest in U.S. history and the 3rd largest for Powerball, so this is a pretty historic time. In Atlanta, Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.
Not me having a better chance at being struck by lightning. That's disappointing. But all right, hopefully you are excited about this tonight. Go have some fun. And if you win, don't tell me about it, because I'll be really disappointed that I didn't play. But we're going to send you outside now to have some fun and talk about maybe some chances of some more rain. We're going to send it over to First Alert meteorologist Patrick Pete, who is right there. And he's here to talk about it.
Yep. Forecast not looking too bad out there at Truist Park. Folks are having a good time. Things are pretty dry out there. Temperatures are a little warm, but nothing that is not manageable. Hopefully you are having a fantastic, this is what? Wednesday? Hopefully you're having a fantastic Wednesday evening. We are here at Atlanta News First, and we're going to go ahead and switch in and talk about the forecast because there's a lot to talk about as we head through the next couple of days. I want to switch my computer real quick so that you guys can, bam. So good evening. Hopefully you guys are having a pretty sweet hump day, because this is hump day. Wait, this is Wind Down Wednesday too. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it all around. I want to see if I can switch my camera. So there we go. I'll leave you with this just for a second so that I can get things together. No, we're just going to roll with it. So here's a look at the next few days. And what we're tracking tomorrow, first and foremost, is the first alert for heat and humidity. It's just going to be hot and humid throughout the afternoon hours. And on top of that, there's going to be a couple of isolated storms that are going to fire up in the afternoon. And those storms are going to have the potential to be on the stronger side. So definitely want to be weather aware for the afternoon hours. And then more scattered showers and storms Friday into early Saturday. But it looks like the second half of Saturday is drying out quite quickly, which means that you can get outside and maybe enjoy some drier time late afternoon, early evening. Meanwhile, Sunday is shaping up to be the best day of the forecast. So before we get to Sunday, let's get you through tomorrow. There is a level 1 risk for some strong storms. Damaging winds are going to be our primary concern, but frequent lightning, heavy downpours. And we cannot rule out a little bit of spin in the atmosphere because we can already see that there's going to be a little bit of rotation out there. So an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out with the storms that do become severe. Here's how the day unfolds. You're going to notice that everybody's not going to get rain and storms tomorrow. We're all mainly dry for the morning with warm numbers in the mid-70s. As we get closer to 12, we'll start to see storms moving south out of Tennessee, and that's going to eventually creep into North Georgia as we head into the 2 to 4 time frame. And you can see those isolated storms are around. Everybody not getting it. They're breaking apart. They're firing up along this boundary, and that's where we're going to be watching for some of that energy to take off. Meanwhile, the heat and humidity is going to make it feel hotter than the temperatures that you just saw on your screen. So these are the actual feel-like numbers. We call that the heat index in the summer. Feeling like 100 degrees at 1 o'clock and then climbing into the 104 territory by the time you're getting off work. So it is just going to be brutal to be walking to that car, getting into that hot, stuffy car to drive to work. So if you have the option to maybe park in a parking garage tomorrow, that may be the move because it is just going to be very hot. But more importantly, if you're going to be outside for extended periods of time, hydrate. Because it will, your body, you'll be losing water, sweating. It's going to be humid, sticky. It's going to be important that you hydrate. Meanwhile, as we head into Friday, we're going to be dealing with some isolated showers in the morning. There's a boundary that's going to be sinking further south throughout the day. And as we head into the afternoon hours, I do expect storms to start to fire up on the boundary. So that could be anywhere from the Marietta-Lawrenceville line all the way down towards Thomaston as we head into the afternoon. So just be aware of that potential for sure. It's going to cause a little bit of a slowdown on the roadways, clearing as we push into the overnight. And humidity. Going to be a factor for sure for tomorrow, but even as we head into your Friday. But by Saturday, the numbers start to go down. So it's going to start to be a little bit drier outside, so not quite as humid and a little bit more comfortable. Sunday is the pick of the weekend. Low humidity, a good mix of sun and clouds, and highs near 90. That's the day to be out in the backyard drinking some sweet tea, barbecuing some shrimp and some salmon, and if you like steak, some steak as well. That's going to be the gorgeous day in the forecast, and we continue to trend warmer as we head towards Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll gradually start to introduce rain chances back into the forecast by Tuesday afternoon. So I want to go to our Facebook stream. Good evening, everybody. I see that there's a lot of you watching us right now. Hopefully you guys are getting what you need from the forecast and preparing for it. Be prepared for that heat tomorrow, and then, of course, the chance for those storms in the afternoon. I'm going to leave you with this view and continue to prepare for our 9 o'clock newscast because, you know, we have a 9 and a 10 on Peachtree TV and 11 on Atlanta News First, and we'll give you the latest not only on the forecast but also on what's going on in the city. So y'all have a good night.